My book, The Psychopath Inside, is a memoir, and it's a mix of a personal story and what the science is, that is the psychiatry and the genetics and the neuroscience behind what the subject is, which is psychopathy. But it's really a story about somebody, me, who at 60 finds out he's not really who he thought he was all along in his whole life. And not until I had, just by serendipity, by chance, started to run across biological evidence, first from PET scans, positron emission tomography scans, that I was involved with. I acted as a control in one study in Alzheimer's disease, and so it was through that about 7 years ago that I found out something very strange, and this something strange, both in terms of my brain pattern and genetics, it intersected with another study I had been doing, a minor study on looking at PET scans of killers, really bad murderers, and these are particularly bad hombres and some serial killers.
Well, I came across this narcissist checklist today, and I thought it was quite insightful and amusing. It says, what is the checklist you need to look for in narcissistic men or women? We're not devoting this only to one gender because I know plenty of narcissistic women. 1. Two-faced, putting friends and family down behind their backs. Check. Tendency to blame their lack of success and failures on others. Check. I'm checking for my first husband. Anyway, acts different in public than in private. Check, check. Irresponsible and unreliable. Check. Arrogant. Acts superior. Check again. I'll just go through here without checking because he fits all of them. Lives in a fantasy world which may include porn, flirting, affairs, dreams of unlimited success and fame. He's addicted to fantasy. He's addicted to fantasy-oriented behavior. Yes. Will lie and distort facts and change events to suit their own agenda. Irresponsible with money, emotionally distant and unavailable unless they want something. Lack of sympathy for others, especially those they exploit. Hello, Miss Exploitable right here. I'm the first one they see, and they hone in on, oh, that looks like my Patsy. Anyway, regularly provoke people and blame them for the fight, and they have a trouble admitting to their mistakes. Now, you notice trouble. So sometimes we get thrown off because occasionally a narcissist may apologize. And then we think, oh, they're human after all. No, no, they are not. You can use this checklist for everything in your life. I mean, narcissistic bosses, narcissistic doctors, narcissistic friends. I mean, really, a lot of my friends, I have to bite my tongue so often because you're only with them a short time and they can be very, very enjoyable in short stints, but don't move in with them and don't let them move in with you and don't share any resources with them because you're going to find yourself as the prey completely consumed and cannibalized by these people. And they have no conscious awareness they're doing it because this is how they roll. This is how they dance. This is how they live. They know no other way of doing it because through whatever rituals, religious, social, family rituals, this sort of behavior is reinforced, reinforced, reinforced on most Western European social structures and nations from the time we are born to the time we're adults. And very few of us can emerge or rewire. And then it's basically a wiring problem because rewire our brains with new neurons to go around these pathways and start to see the world as it is. Because as these male and female organizations know from years and centuries of knowledge, if you can keep a person in a constant state of brain damage and they can't rewire their brains and grow new neurons, this is what you're going to produce. An endemic society where everyone's either a prey or predator. And that's what they want. They want the complete chaos, the breakdown of civilization into prey and predators. this Arizona Republican that claims that sex trafficking does not damage children. This article goes on to claim that the Arizona Representative David Stringer has made perturbing comments about child sexual trafficking. He allegedly was also arrested and convicted of soliciting child sex of underage boys. One was even disabled when about 20 years earlier, he states that he was not convicted. However, to the contrary, the record was expunged. A woman reported that at one of a dinner that she attended with Stringer that he made some very disturbing comments. During a speech from a Border Patrol agent at the event, Stringer had told Melissa Hamilton, an activist who protects victims of child trafficking, that child sex trafficking isn't a problem. Hamilton recorded their conversation and live streamed it on Facebook. Hamilton said Stringer should ask about child trafficking. In response, he said sex trafficking wasn't a concern. I don't like to demonize it, he explained. Stringer also said that he doesn't believe that there is much sex trafficking. However, there are a lot of 15-year-old prostitutes, Springer said. Springer's 1980 charges included one accusation that Springer paid for sex with a 15-year-old, obviously what he called a willing prostitute 15-year-old, like a 15-year-old can consent to sex at any time. Hamilton important part, Stringer didn't believe there was any damage done by child sex trafficking, he said. If an uncle takes his niece or nephew to the playground and they go on a merry-go-round and have some ice cream and then do their thing, that's just part of the experience. Oh my gosh, I believe he's talking about himself here. Like an uncle takes and grooms his own nieces and nephews and then they finish off with a little sex. That's part of their fun experience with uncle. No, it's not. And I'll show you the studies that show the long-term effects of child sexual abuse and incest. But this is what you call a very brain-damaged man. He has been damaged long ago by a targeted early child sexual abuse himself. And then he has been rewarded, therefore, with his own type of candy, which is, power positions in government, going to, I think he went to Harvard or Yale. I mean, if you get rewarded for your perverted behavior, of course it's going to be fun for you after a while, even though, and also look at him, they all have this look, but there is a look of kind of a vacancy in these men. They say very bizarre things. There's a geekiness about them, and that is because they have been, their amygdala right here behind their eyes, and their CEO brain functions and long-term abstract thinking has been destroyed. But basically, the amygdala makes these guys really geeky. And they say stupid stuff that they don't even know is stupid. That's what's so funny about it, is these are basically what you call clowns. They're going around vacantly. And look at the smile himself. He's just got a goofy smile. Now, I'm sure plenty of men out there have the same type of smile. But if you're not taking your nieces and nephews out for ice cream and a merry-go-round with a nice little sexual encounter afterwards, you do not identify with this man, okay? Mr. Stringer is not you, so don't confuse my observations with somehow an attack on the general population of men. I do not. I was not personally molested by anybody in my family. Unless it happened before 3 years old. No incest in my family, as I recall. All right. But, of course, none of us can remember before we're 3. It'd be incest by an uncle who had been taught by the Talmud that before 3, it's just fine because nobody remembers. And a lot of damage can be done to the brain through that. They call it an electrical shock that rolls up the spine and blows out the frontal lobes of everybody's brain. That's why we have people like this guy wandering around with his goofy smile.